Hello, beautiful, empowered vegans. I'm Mariquita Solis, and I'm here with Paige Parsons Roache. And I'm excited that we're going to be talking today about pre-vegans and vegan allies. And Paige reached out to me because this is a topic that she's very interested in. And so this is a topic that affects us all. So first, I'd love for you to tell, first, everyone, also, let StreamYard give them permission to use your name and let us know where you're joining from. And let's let Paige tell us about herself.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm Paige Parsons Roache. I'm half of the brand Plant-Based in the Burbz. I'm one of the co-hosts and co-producers of our brand, and we have 8 cooking shows that are on the Unchainedtv vegan streaming network, which has been receiving a lot of press lately because one of the Jenners has a cooking show on there. So you can see it in People Magazine, Us Magazine, all over the place. And it's called Unchainedtv Global Streaming Network. And it's the first vegan network, which is super cool. So, yeah, we bring more plants on people's plates. And, you know, we like to kind of encourage people in their lifestyle. You know, it's not just what we eat, but it's the makeup that we wear. You know, let me just show you one of my cute little makeup here by e.l.f. And, you know, this is cruelty-free makeup, not tested on animals. So, you know, makeup, clothing, car seats. I mean, you name it. We're here to give the 411 on all things plants, basically. That's what Plant-Based in the Burbz is about. And, yeah, so that's a little bit about me. We met through, was it Climate Healers? I'm not sure how we first met. We have some mutual friends. Shout out to Miss Sarah Siegel here, who's in Los Angeles now, but she used to be in Atlanta with you, right?
Right. Yeah, we used to do. Georgia Animal Rights and Protection.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I have to say, I also was part of the team. I still am part of the team, but I was a full-timer helping to build the Unchainedtv streaming network. And I also work with Gwenna Hunter and the Vegan South LA, it's called Vegan South LA Food Bank. And we basically support people with their birthright, healthy food being a birthright. And we service about 15,000 people. Is that about right? Each month, about 350 come through the grocery line, Build a Bag in Los Angeles area at one location. Another location is about 200. And then at the USC campus is a food bank for over 150 children. So when people come through the food line, the 350, they come in for 4 + 5 people in their family. So you do that math, and it's once a month. And I'm very honored to be on the board and work with Gwenna Hunter, the Vegans of Los Angeles, Vegans of LA Food Bank.
That's wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that because I know that a lot of people don't have good food selection when you go to food banks, and it can be just macaroni and cheese and all sorts of junk. So thank you for everything you're doing. You're doing so much.
Well, we're all doing as much as we possibly can. I always say, do what you can, share what you can. You know, if people are out there right now, they can share this content. That's activism as well. You know, I call it clickable activism because we're at home. And, you know, you're clicking and sending and so forth. But I'm so excited about this topic because I think allies are a key in every single social movement. Having allies who will speak up, who will promote, who will consume. And so what are your thoughts on that? What made you bring about this topic?
So, yeah. At church, we've been going through Black History Month, and so Reverend Richard has been talking about the ally, the advocate, and the activist, right? And so how important it is for us to have allies. And I thought about Melanie Joy talking about vegan allies, and I have a lot of pre-vegan friends. I don't want to call them anything but pre-vegans because I'm always hopeful, and I know that they have awareness because of me. I want to congratulate myself for that. So, anyway, so yes, so I want to. I know we can shouldn't really be angry at these people, but a lot of my pre-vegan friends are there and they support me, and I wouldn't make it without them. Like my boyfriend is not vegan, but he's almost vegan. He's doing his best, right? I know it's hard, and it's hard for some people, harder for some people than others, depending on, well, there's a lot of things that can make it more challenging. So, but he always supports me, and I couldn't do the things that I do if I didn't have him behind me. And so people can say, well, how can you be with him? Well, I'm not perfect. And I know that everyone's on their own journey. I have to gulp when I say that, but it's true. And everyone at their own time and pace. And so I need his support, getting me out there to be able to do this live stream, right? To be able to encourage me, and to be able, and even defending vegans. And when we're out, and when someone asks me about it, and he says, he's working hard on being vegan, and he explains, and sometimes I'm like, wow, listen to him go. So he's my ally, right? He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And it's so important that I acknowledge my other friends too, that don't make fun of me, that are very kind and support me and know. And because of what I've shared with them, they're able to share information. And on their journey, I mean, they eat less meat because of me. So less animals, they're more aware because of me. So I support them.
I so appreciate this, because I wanted to ask you, how long have you been with your boyfriend?
About 7 years.
7 years. Okay. So when I went vegan 8 years ago, I'm going on 9 years. My daughter came home at 13. She was 13 years old, and she came home from doing some research on food waste and fell into some videos about animals. And she had been a self-professed vegetarian since she was 9 years old. And she said, Mom, I'm going vegan. And my friend is going to join me. We're going to do this together. And I was like, oh, cool. Okay. And, at first I was like, okay, that's cool. And then I would bring home food that had casein, whey, gelatin, unrecognizable things, even dairy that I wasn't clear about, or eggs. And she'd say, Mom, this has eggs or dairy or casein, And I'd say, okay, you need to come shopping with me, because as a parent, I'm like, I'm getting frustrated, honestly. But I want to support her, but I am getting frustrated because I'm cooking for 4. My son, who was 15 at the time, my husband and me. Blah, blah. So she and I would go shopping together. And I started to learn what was going on. And then I sat down and watched Cowspiracy. And when I saw that movie, I was already on, if you know me, and you know me in Los Angeles, you would know that I'm always carrying and selling in a basket these sustainable items, straws. I was on the campaign for changing out the plastic straws to paper straws, banning plastic bags in the state of California, all of this prior to being vegan. And when I went vegan, it just amped it up to encourage people. But I realized the amount of water that's being used, right? So, mind you, I have been married now for almost 27 years. We've been together for nearly 31. I changed the game overnight. I went vegan overnight, but I had led up to it doing my research. But by the time I had seen that film, it was literally the day before October 1st. So November 29th and 30th. And I said, that's it. I'm going to go to have all you can eat sushi, and then I'm going vegan on the 1st. And I changed the game. So little by little, so as a vegan, I think as a new vegan, you start learning things. And then as the deeper you get into the truth and the veils are lifted, sometimes we can become angry because we're very passionate. And like I remember feeling, we have to make a law that they can't put billboards up for my friends that are the animals, like their body parts. This is not okay with me because I don't see a steak, I see a dead cow, right? And then I started working with Unchainedtv. I'm just going to throw that up because I just found it in my purse. That's what I was searching for. And I learned a lot through Jane Velez Mitchell and through the interviews that I was setting up for her podcast and the lunch break lives that I was setting up with people who were cooking and I'd be in their kitchen. It was so much fun. So I learned so much. And I eventually said, I no longer want any animals in our home. So I'm going to be cooking. I became a better chef. I'm going to be cooking vegan food. I'm going to be cooking all vegan. We're going to clear out anything, honey, you name it, anything that had anything in it. And I would just be solely cooking, the vegan food. Then it became, please, if you're going to dine with me, can we please go to vegan restaurants? And honestly, it's been amazing to see. I have a few friends that are frustrated. And I said, let's go to an art museum instead. Let's go for a walk in the park. But for the most part, pretty much everyone has come on board to support what they feel when I explain to them the reason. And I want to ask you, how do you explain to people the reason that it's important for you that you have an ally or a support person? And I explained to them that, it's difficult for me to sit and watch people eat animals. And I stopped saying dead animals. I just say animals and let them kind of sit with that. And I choose to sometimes just come after the meal. And I don't drink alcohol or anything, but I'll have a drink, I'll get a cute little bubbly drink or whatever. I've navigated through it. And at first I was going to the restaurants and getting the vegan options, but then I noticed I would either have a stomach ache, there'd be some kind of cross-contamination, the dish would come with cheese on it, dairy cheese. Sometimes it would have chicken on it, and I asked for tofu, lots of mistakes. And I don't like to waste food. I'm not a food waster. I bring all the leftovers home. So it would upset me to be and then people say, well, just take it off. Take it off the salad. Well, honestly, that juice and the pus and the goop from a lot of these animals, like when they're sizzled or they're cooked, that's their juices. That's their juicy juices of their secretions that are being cooked up and become grease. So I'm like, no, I don't want that anywhere near. I might take it home and bring it to, or I don't know. I haven't been in that situation in a long time because I just definitely make sure I'm an advocate for myself. But over to you, because I want to ask you, what's that like for you when you're out with people, and how is that for you?
Well, it's very peaceful because my friends, I'm around people that respect me. And so I wouldn't hang out with people that would make me feel bad. I mean, I would just, I am an advocate for myself, like you said, that's so important. So I have to make sure that I'm around people that are kind. And so it's very peaceful. And I see my friends, they've told me, well, I'm just going to eat vegan when I'm with you. Right. So there is a connection, but no, and I get upset sometimes, of course, when I see that they're not, and I see that they're in terrible health, I get worried. I try not to say anything. One of my friends, though, is reading the China study, which is wonderful. And he's a very analytical guy, a professor. So I keep waiting to hear his, what he thinks about it at the end. So.
I've been getting a lot of phone calls. I even had a friend come over and borrow a bunch of cookbooks, my vegan cookbooks, because of the Netflix show that's on. It's got 4 episodes. It's a series, and it's called You Are What You Eat. And I'm telling you, it is so inspiring. I think also people in the new year are looking to be healthier. So they might watch What the Health, or they might stumble into Forks Over Knives, right? And discover they want to be healthier. And so maybe they're coming into this, eating more plants on their plate because they want a healthier lifestyle. They've even gotten a diagnosis of some kind, right? And I have heard people who have gotten diagnoses that their doctors say, you need to cut back big time on your red meat, on your chicken consumption, even your fish consumption. I've heard people say, go plant-based. Their doctors say, go plant-based. So I think that the word is getting out about the health values of eating whole foods, plant-based whole foods, having a garden versus a graveyard in our bodies. And I think that is making an impact. So what do you find? I mean, have you come up against where there's been someone who literally is like, I don't want to hang out with you? Because I had that happen.
No, I'm very blessed that I haven't had that happen. I mean, maybe they just stopped contacting me, but no, I think my friends. So I was vegetarian in '95, so I think all of my friends. I mean, it's been so long that they already thought she's weird, right? From a long time ago.
Right. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. I mean, I think we're a disruption for people. And, you know, I haven't gotten to the bottom of it. I just know a friend said, the conversations I've had with you in the past 3 or 4 years have been stressful. And I don't feel we have anything in common. And so I chose out to hang because I also got this group text on this friend group that we were friends from the kids being 1 year old. And my son's going to be 25. So for 24 years, we've been friends. We support each other through motherhood. And there's been lots of things we support each other in, right? And essentially, she wrote, "Are you not going to join us unless we go to a vegan restaurant?" And I thought that was very, not coming to me personally. It was putting it on the group chat with the 8 of us. So I called. Didn't call me back. Called again. And then eventually just wrote, "Why are you calling? It's been distressing to speak to you in the past 3 or 4 years." And so I essentially said, "I wish you well. I wish you well in your diagnosis, and I wish you well in your health journey," because she's dealing with some health issues. And I truly mean that. And I'm not going to apologize for being a disruption because, listen, if you know something, like I actually, what I wanted to talk to her about, because I wanted to, if anybody's listening out there, just to kind of understand, if you're a pre-vegan, right? She's a crazy lady. You might be thinking, like, why is she so stuck? Or why is she trying to get us to do something? No, but I do. What I did want to say to her is, bring, friend. Have you ever been so passionate about something that you would, like, for instance, and this is not the same, but imagine you knew there was a restaurant that was supporting child trafficking, and you knew it. You've done the research. You found out the info. It might not be in the public eye, or maybe it is, but let's go to that restaurant. And you realize, like, it's out of integrity because you've done the research. You've looked into it, and now you say to, you say, I can't, I choose out on going to this restaurant, right? First of all, I would want to say to you, well, what's going on? She's never said that to me. What's going on? It's just been like, you're pushing your values on, you're pushing your stuff on, you're pushing your shit on me. So I just think if we maybe, okay, I'll take responsibility since I have known these friends for so long. At the beginning, I was probably like, everybody has to go vegan. Let's go vegan. But I wasn't requesting that we go to vegan restaurants at that time. So I was just suffering through because when I see an ice cream cone, I see a mother cow whose nipples were pulled on through a machine, and then we process it and make it ice cream. And then I see her babies taken from her, given formula, because they do give them formula. And then the baby cows, the boys, become veal. That's veal. And those mothers then become hamburger meat. So I'm like, I don't just see an ice cream cone. Yeah. I see a full story. People might think, you're crazy. Why can't you just shut that up? Listen, once you see something and you really see it and you really allow yourself to let it in and you allow yourself to realize what has happened, I think then it's difficult to flip that off. Just like anything that we've seen, once you see it, it's very difficult to unsee something. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. I think that it depends on the person. I mean, some people, which is perfectly fine if they choose not to eat, and you have to always honor yourself to eat. If you can't handle it, it's too much, then don't do it. To eat with, with someone that's eating animals, right? So I mean, we have to be respectful of ourselves. I mean, but it does hurt every time we go out, and it's just, you think you want to scream and say, "What do you know what you're doing?" I mean, I'm vocal with my friends, so I mean, I'm not very pushy, but I do say a few things, right? So that, I mean, they know who I am. They know I'm passionate, and I'm the leader of the animal ministry at my church. So I'm also on the Earth Care group. So recently I was able to get up and talk about animals. And it was wonderful because, is that clicking again?
It's doing a little click, click, but I think we're all getting through it. Listen,
Okay.
y'all, we try to figure it out, but we're just going to keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going. I had a disruption over there too a minute ago. But anyway, so
We do this another time too. We could do part 2 on this, by the way. So once we could figure it out and then do part 2, but continue, because I really appreciate this conversation.
So do I. Yeah. So I was in the Earth Care ministry, and I got to talk about my passion, which is the animals and the earth, and climate healers. And I used a lot of their statistics and graphics from it. And I'm just so thankful for Reverend Richard, who is my pre-vegan ally. He has, he's the reason for this live stream, and he gave up red meat. Now he says he's given up chicken and pork. So now, slowly coming off. And he said, I was telling him to watch Eating Your Way to Extinction whenever you're ready, and he said, well, that should be shown at the church. And I almost fell over when he said that, So he's a great pre-vegan ally. I love him. I mean, because again, he's supporting me, and he says, I'm trying, So yes, I'm very blessed. I mean, to go to Unity North and have someone like that.
That's amazing. And let me tell you something. My reverend who married my husband and I is vegan now. And this woman, Koya Webb, helped support him going vegan. And he wasn't vegan for years. I think he's only been vegan for maybe 5 years now. So you never know what the click and the switch could be. You just never know. But here's what I want to say also, though, because I did go to, I do make exceptions.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you I make exceptions. So you might choose to make exceptions for yourself as well, family out there, or, friends out there. I made an exception for my family. And here's what I chose to do at the restaurant twice now. Actually, more than that, come to think of it. Because I realized when we were in lockdown, the most important people to me, for real, I could literally not see any friends again, even though they are so special to me. But my brother's wife, my nieces, and my own kids and my husband, really important to me. Like, that's it. My parents are gone. Step-parents are gone. It's us. And so I realized, okay, if I want to spend time with them, I might need to make some shifts. And they were all on board for us bringing vegan food. Like I would, and then recently, one of our aunts is 98 years old, going on 99, and she knows this one restaurant. And it's very difficult for her to go to new places. So it's like, are you okay going to this one place? And I said, yes, back in January. So I went and I ordered a fruit bowl, and everybody else ordered. And I heard the things they were ordering, and I chose to look in their eyes and feel their hearts. I didn't focus on what was on the plate, which was very different. It took energy for me to be that person, to say, okay, I'm going to focus on their eyes and their hearts, and it made a big impact. Could I do that with everybody? I think I'm still a little hung up on, like, I don't want to have to do that with my friends all, eating chicken, slicing up and everything. So I think you do, I guess what's really worth it for you to make the sacrifice. And I say, you eat 364 other days, non-vegan restaurants, one day. Couldn't we support my values that are essential? And I think it's better for your health anyways. And the planet, not to mention the resources that are used to bring about animal products on our plate. Because people forget that, in order to get a burger, you've got to use all the water to grow the grain, to then feed to the cows, and then you got to transport them. So there's all these resources that are used even for the chickens too, because chickens got to have grain. So there's so many layers to what we can learn about the resources that are being used to get animal products on people's plates, that if we go straight to the plants. So I like to encourage people, please, how can I support you in bringing more plants on your plate? You know, and not asking people to go vegan anymore, really. If they choose that, great. You want to know more about it, super. But let's figure out how we get more plants on your plate, more plants in your lifestyle. How about not buying that leather coat? What else could we get for you? What about ditching the leather shoes and the leather belt? What other shoes could we get for you that are made from sustainable products? You know, leather purses are super passe. Like nobody's real. I mean, there are millions of people still buying. So, you know, we're a small percentage, but we are making a huge difference, waking people up to the atrocities that happen. So, right. But what are your thoughts on the future? Like, what are your thoughts on the future? How do you think things are going? And, you know, does everybody know where you're located? I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, California. And where are you located?
I'm near Atlanta. I'm in the Atlanta area. Yeah. And I don't know if I said this. I'm a vegan empowerment coach is one of the things I am. But anyway, but I really work with the feminine energy. I want everyone to know. I see some great feminine energy here, JJ, Diana, and then I'm not sure, let's see who else, but Dream Seven Souls, thanks for coming. But yes, the feminine is going to shift the world. She will heal the world. And I love what you're saying about your heart. That was feminine energy. You know, when you realize flexibility, right? And that's what the feminine is, flow and, you know, and shifting, right? We have to allow, I mean, of course, we'd like for things to always be a certain way, but then we have to be flexible about these things. So the future, I think, I see in my own at Unity North Church, I see more and more people, you know, asking questions about veganism. And I also went out the other day and I just happened on 2 vegans in my little journey outside of my house, which was exciting. So I'm seeing it more and more. I think the future is really coming this way. And with the Netflix documentary, I think that's powerful because it's already affected people at the church. That's where I spend a lot of time there in these groups that are all coming. It's all about vegan, right? Whether they know it or not, you know, Earth Care, that's about vegan, right? That's about eating plants, you know, animal ministry is about taking care of animals, vegan, right? And Healthy Living Group that I'm the leader of, vegan again, earth, you know, earth friendly foods. So yes. And so I think, yes, the world is changing and I'm excited about the future.
You know, I think this is a really interesting thought that I'm going to bring forward that just came into my mind because some people say, okay, I'm thinking about changing my ways, right? And I've heard the question, I've heard people say, but what about all the animals that will exist on the planet? I didn't know that every single day we are breeding billions, I think it's millions. I can't even wrap my head around how many animals. But think about all the billions of people eating animals, and they're eating animals a lot, like 3 times a day, right? If we stopped breeding them, we are physically, artificially inseminating, which means a human being is doing this, right? It's not I think there are machines, but they're not very accurate. The human being, it's gross, but you can look it up if you want more details. I'm not going to get into them, but we're doing that. If we stop that, let's say we stop that. It may not happen overnight. Certain farms, and it's already happening. There are farmers who are changing to mushrooms rather than chickens. There are farmers who are not cattle ranchers anymore, but they're learning how to make plant milk. Like, I'm just going to say, this company that was established in the 1920s, Elmhurst, the owner of Elmhurst got a diagnosis. His doctor said, you got to get off the dairy. And he switched Elmhurst to plant milk. Some of the best, cleanest plant milk ever, y'all. And you can get it. I don't know if you can get it all over the world, but I know you can get it here in the States. So look up Elmhurst. But that used to be a dairy company. You can go and look. It used to have a little cow face on it. So
that's amazing.
Not amazing. And okay, but back to the thought here of animals. Would we just have all these roaming animals? Well, we'd stop breeding the animals. The animals that did still exist on the planet could go into sanctuary lives and have people get paid to care for these animals until they physically die. And then let me tell you, the veterinarians could study those animals, the ones that are vet students, because right now they're euthanizing animals to study them. So that could become a whole system. And that's enough for another day. But the other thing is, think about the fish. What they're determining is it's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish by the 2030. That's only 6 years away. And here's the reason. The fishing nets become ghost nets, and then they break into small particles of plastics, plus our pollution problem. Okay, so if you do your best to use less single-use plastics, that's what I do. It's all over. It's in everything. I mean, it's, plastics covering my this, it's everywhere. But if you can start small and think, no more plastic water bottles, no more. So if you can do that, that's awesome. But it doesn't. And then the oceans start to naturally refill with fish that we're not fishing and eating. They're just naturally living. So the Sadhana forest, which is in, where is that? What continent? I think it's Asia. They have been practicing this no animals. I was thinking about Puerto Rico. No, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name. Pura Vida. What's that called? Oh my gosh, I'm spacing out.
I don't know.
Costa Rica. We went to a forest that was a cattle ranch before, and they just allowed it to, and it's beautiful. All these wild animals. You can walk through it. They do these tours through it. It's gorgeous, beautiful, reforested. So I think there's a myth. Oh, I have to continue. What's going to happen? No, let's just start making changes. Your body will adjust and even be healthier on a plant-based lifestyle, right? And there's lots of ways you can find out information. I'm sure you've got lots of, we can put things in the chat where you can find out more information, but Switch for Good is one of my favorites. Switch, and then number 4, Good, when you want to learn about dairy and nut, like getting more seeds and nuts, doing that instead, switching off of dairy milk, right? So that means your cheese, because some people go, I don't drink cow's milk. Okay. And they go, oh, but I do like cheese. That's the same thing. It's either a cow or sometimes there's camel milk now or goat. That's a mom's milk that's designed for her babies, not for us. So some people go, but I'm lactose intolerant, so I do like these lactose pills. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, you don't need to do that. Let's just figure out how to get plant milk into your life, and plant cheese and plant yogurt and ghee, butter, all the goodies that come from plants versus the mother's milk. So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're exactly right. And that it reminds me of, I don't remember where it is. I guess, I don't know if it was in The Pleasure Trap, but they talk about, we have the issue, and instead of taking away, we're adding, like, okay, well, I've got high cholesterol. Now I'm going to add medicine instead of what caused the high cholesterol to take away, right? So the plants, I mean, it just is so, I mean, we've really steered away from common sense. From plants and health, and I mean the vitality of looking at plants, and we've just, well, I mean, thank goodness you're here, Paige, and your cooking shows, everything you do.
I want to acknowledge those that are watching, because if you're watching and you haven't yet come over to the green side, as my friend Angela says, yeah, come on the same page. I love that. I invite you to learn how to get more plants on your plate. And if you borrow a cookbook from your friend who's vegan, phenomenal. Or you're curious how to make lentils taste good, or tofu. I had no idea how to cook tofu before I went vegan. I didn't know I could scramble it and throw some seasonings in there and some nutritional yeast and make it taste like scrambled eggs. It's so good. Our family loves it, our entire family. And that's what I want to say. My son and my husband are vegan allies. They support me and my daughter on our vegan journey. They eat our vegan food, that when we're together, we only go to vegan restaurants together. When we're traveling, we might go to a place that they'll only order vegan with me. When we go out, they're being respectful to me. They get that it's upsetting for me. I've left restaurants prior to that because I could smell all the death and the animals and gross. It's just gross. All the smells, and they were very respectful to me. So I want to thank anyone out there that's watching this, that's curious, that's saying, what are they talking about? What is a vegan ally? What is a vegan friend? What is it being vegan friendly? I thank my husband, I thank my son for supporting me in my mental wellness, because it really is support for my emotional and mental wellness. But also, I care about my husband's son deeply. And I hope that by eating the plant-based foods, by eating the vegan foods, they are going to live longer, healthier lives as well. And, we didn't even talk about the emotional impact of eating dead animals that don't want to die.
No, it didn't. But you know what? And I'll go right back to Reverend Richard. We had that great conversation. He said, and people are so angry. He made the connection, and they're eating animals that have suffered so much. And I was like, I can't believe I'm hearing this from my pre-vegan ally. And it was beautiful. Yes. We're eating animals that are suffering. How is that harming us emotionally, our heart and soul? And when we eat from the living foods, that is so healing in every way. This is, and I love what you're saying about your family and acknowledging them and acknowledging everyone on the journey, because we want to be respectful of you all also. We want all vegans to respect. For me, veganism is love. So I love pre-vegans. I love you. I understand you. I'm not any better than you are, right? I might eat differently, live differently, but that's okay. Right now, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow, right? And I'm here to support anybody, and there's no rush, no forcing, nothing allowing. And JJ has a great channel too, Vegan Knowledge JJ. Also, she's on here. Diana Varner's on here. And so all of us will help. And Dream Seven Souls, I'm going to say you'll help too. So, right? Reach out to us. We would love to help you. That's what we're here for.
Here's my question I want to ask of the viewers that are watching, and I'd love them to put the chat, because I can't see the chat, so maybe you can put the comments up. But what are your favorite vegan protein-packed meals? Because I find that question a lot, and I think people, they need to picture themselves cooking something, because it's about let's just start with the food. I just bought my first purse made of cork, but it took me a minute. I have a pineapple leather one that was given to me recently. So I'm not talking about changing everything overnight. It takes a minute to get into it, right? But the food we eat 3 times a day plus some snacks, or maybe 2 times a day, right? We need food to survive. We've got water. Water's vegan, right? We got the water. Okay. Air, okay, but we need food. So if you'll write in the chat, what are some protein-packed meals that you make? I'd love to see what it is that you make. If you would write it in, and then maybe you can put them up. But one thing I make that I just learned, and it's so simple. My daughter taught me this. She's such a good chef. She's a great chef, and she's an excellent baker. But quick cook red lentils, okay? Like you're going to, so you'd get like a cup of them, okay? Then you would add 2 cups of water like you would rice. But instead of the full water, you're going to put 1 cup of water and then 1 can of stewed, or you can make it yourself, stewed fire roasted tomatoes. If you want to do this yourself, you're going to cut up those tomatoes, fire roast them, and do all that. Fantastic. Put that in there and then watch it cook down. If you need to add a little bit more water or veggie broth, put it in. Now you've got a meaty substance that instead of chicken, instead of beef, instead of pork, pigs, you're going to have that, and you can put it in tacos. You can put it on a sloppy joe, like on a bun with some coleslaw. You can tailor that to flavor that you want. So I get the fire roasted Italian, but you can just get like tomato, add in spices. Let's say you want to make it more of a Latin flavor. So you're going to put some more spices like that. So essentially that becomes your meat, your meaty meat. And then you can add it to a spaghetti sauce or, like I said, burritos or enchiladas or tacos and things like that. And it's so delicious. Oh my gosh, I want some right now. And I have it on hand a lot because we can put it all together in different combinations, and having things on hand so that you can just make food, quickly, dishes. So if you're transitioning, you're not like, oh my gosh, I have to just go to my go-to frozen chicken or whatever. You've got things on hand. So you're making those switches. You're switching out what you normally consume to something new that's a vegan item, like a tofu or maybe the Gardein meatballs, things like that. So you're switching out and you're literally like one for one. Instead of fish, instead of that, I'm going to have, I'm going to make tofu fish sticks. This is a great question, Facebook user. I'm not sure who's out there. Yeah,
Go ahead, Paige. I'm going to let you take over for a second. I have a little disruption over here. Keep going.
Okay. Well, let me say, this question is beautiful. Thank you for the question. And I think we would have to ask them. What? And, when I first went vegan, I was passionately sharing everything. And it might have been a little overload. So I backed off, and I'm not sure. I think, let me say this. I think tradition and culture have a lot to do with perhaps why people don't go all in. Maybe they have misinformation. They feel they need to consume animals to survive. Or maybe they think that, animals were put on this planet for us to have dominion over them. So, it's part of the way things have always been. And, that's how it has to go. So I haven't really asked those questions. I've been really just focusing on where we do connect in our hearts. And I have a lot of respect for both of them and their lives that they've created, and the one that my husband and I have created together. So that's where I'm at. That question is an interesting question for sure. What's holding them back? And I don't quite know. But speaking of Dominion, we're going to take this to the new movie that's coming out. Have you gotten your tickets yet? Did you get your tickets yet? To Christspiracy in theaters on March 20th and 24th. And you can get your tickets now. It's in 600 theaters. We want to sell the tickets out. So bring a friend. It's the powerful film. I just saw it recently again. And good point. Something familiar to bite into. Yeah. There's something familiar, something even maybe nostalgic. And I think it's misinformation. But you don't know it's misinformation until you actually make the choice to look at it as correct information. And the stuff we've been fed all of our lives is misinformation. I can seem like it's conspiracy or something.
Paige, if you go to comments, I know you probably it's on private chat, but if you go to comments on the right, you can see them. Do you see?
Oh, there you are. Hi, comments. So, graphic level of Christspiracy. Okay, so definitely not Dominion or Earthlings level. They use an animation graphic for one part. It's interesting because I've had a lot of people ask me this, and I've seen it maybe 6 times now because I was in part of the pre-screening. No, that's not true. 4 times. The pre-screening, 5 times. But I wasn't looking at it from that. But if I can handle it, I think you can too. But I do this a lot in movies, or I turn away because I can hear what's happening. So I don't need to see it. So the graphic level, that's maybe you can send them a quick note and ask them what their answer to that is. There's also an interview. That's a great question. There's an interview on Unchainedtv that just screened yesterday with Kip Anderson. So you can actually go to the streaming app. You can download it. It's free from your app store, or you can go to unchainedtv.com and you'll see Kip Anderson. There's an interview yesterday with Collins and so forth. So they might have asked that question. I'm not quite sure. So, but I was able to handle it.
Yeah, I could handle parts of it. I had to turn it off at some point. You know, I just couldn't. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I guess, you know, it's dependent, but yeah, it's not as graphic as some. So, but definitely somehow we've got to support. And the Pignorance also, Pignorance on Amazon Prime.
And you know what? The smell of money. That was powerful. That's a powerful film. Yeah, there's so many good films out there, but I definitely recommend the vegans to watch Christspiracy and to bring your pre-vegan friends. And it's not a religious bashing film, by the way. It's a journey to discover the truth. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you're an atheist, Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Buddha, Jewish, all religions, you're going to find some truth in this journey that takes through a discovery of basically what would Jesus say, how to spiritually kill an animal.
Right.
So there you go. Without
Yes.
Reveal. Oh, look, somebody actually put in their Facebook. That's really cool. And this is all free. So you can download this on your phone, on your TV, on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your Apple TV. And our cooking shows, Plant-Based and the Burbz, are under cooking shows. You'll see Sherry and I, Sherry Cherie. And I also have, if you type in my name, you just type in my name, Paige Parsons Roache, you can type it in the search engine. You'll see there's lots of fun stuff in there. So I produced the Vegan Earth Day event. I produced it last year. I'm really excited. We're getting ready for April 20th. And Earth Day is one of my favorite times of the year, because I feel like Earth Month, get your sustainable wear, bring it with you wherever you go, including chopsticks. So you don't have to keep using chopsticks when you go to vegan sushi restaurants. Bring your own straws, bring your own containers to take things home. That's the one I always forget about. But anyway, yeah. So definitely you can get tons of content. And I sound like a commercial, but I just think it's super cool. I helped create this with Jane, and the team, and then helped acquire a lot of the cool content. But if you heard of Wicked Healthy, they have cooking shows on. Wicked Healthy? Huge. Wicked Healthy is a huge brand actually in the UK, but they have some of their products at Sprouts as well. Derek and Chad Sarno are amazing entrepreneurs in the vegan space, in the plant-based space. So there's lots of cool stuff in here. Like I said, the Jenners, one of the Bruce Jenner, now sons, Brandon, lives in Malibu. He and his wife did a cooking show that's been getting a lot of notoriety in the mainstream press, which is kind of fun because it gets Unchainedtv out there. But I love that it's the only streaming vegan network. And the content, also there's conservation content. There's content about composting. Compost.
I know. I do that now because of you.
Yay! Yeah, I'm a composter. I'm a composter. I encourage people to put their food scraps into the green bin or get it out of the landfill. That's essentially it. So reach out to me if you want. If you have any questions, I'm an open book. Paige, open book.
Paige, you're a wealth of information. Yes, I know. And we all love your energy.
Thank you. On all the socials. So I woke up, I guess I popped out this way, Leo, and I wasn't always this happy, for real. I would have super dark days before I went vegan, for real, because I've had tragedy in my life. And after going vegan, I honestly have not had one of those days where I felt like I couldn't get out of bed. I've had sad days where I cry. I've had days where I bawl for the future of our planet. That's for real. And to feel that my daughter's heart, because she feels everything, and she's going to be a veterinarian, and it ain't easy.
Oh gosh. Wow. That's amazing. I mean, that she could do that.
Yeah. And there's so many layers to it. But anyway, I love that this Facebook user is putting all this information in here about Christspiracy.
I know. Here's a
But
big
since going vegan, and I really believe we are ingesting the spirit and the energy and the intensity of the animals even when we lick an ice cream or eat their dairy cheese, we're ingesting the sadness. And so I think that's what was going on with me. And once I trued up my morals to my values and my ethics and learned this, I did not know. The day before my daughter came home, I knew barely anything. My friend was vegan, one of my best friends, and I was a vegan ally. Dong! I would go to vegan restaurants with her because I'm like, that's her thing. That's her thing. And then once I was like, why is my daughter caring so much? And then once I saw Cowspiracy and it connected the environmental impact that I was causing when I was all about the plastic straws not killing, I was like, change out plastic straws for bamboo and glass so it doesn't kill the turtles. And I would go out and eat all you can eat sushi, not vegan sushi.
Yeah.
I did not make the connect. They call that cognitive dissonance. So once I just didn't know. So I'm not any better than anybody else. I just got informed and made the choice to change. I think that's the key. But does it make me better? No. Does it make me on a journey? And I'm very passionate about making changes and making it easier for people to make the shift? Absolutely. To bringing more plants on their plate. I'm not asking you to go vegan. That might be too big of a deal for you. But could you potentially make those simple swaps from chicken to chickpeas, from beef to beans, from fish to tofu, from fish sticks to tofu sticks? Could you do that? Let's figure this out. And I love that we can search and get so much information now, right? And there are a lot of restaurants we can go to try the food. Now, of course, I'm talking to those that is accessible to you. So if you're watching this in a remote place and it's like, what is she talking about? I get it. But do you cook? Do you know how to cook? Are you able to cook? That's who I'm talking to make those switches. Can you get your car and drive somewhere? Do you have some money that you can spend on food? Boom. So, oh, great. Look at they're putting all this information in here about Christspiracy.
I know.
Very cool. Very cool.
Wonderful. And I love what you're saying about, this idea of it's not all or nothing, because I know that sometimes, people get mad at me because they want, it's like, you can't just say at your own pace, but I have to say that because, do what you can. We don't understand how much power we have. If I say you've got to go vegan now, or you have to go overnight vegan, then I just lost a lot of people. So I love what you're saying. Switch it out, and in your cheerful attitude about it, and your non-pressure. I'm here for you. That's what is so That's the attractant here. We have to be the attractant. We can't be someone like, do it now. We have to be kind and realize.
Yeah. Nobody's going to do it now. Unless, I used to say that stuff to my kids and they would do stuff. That's it. And maybe my sweet dog, sit. That's it. My cat might come on over, Alana, maybe. But so I would say to my kids, you need to, do certain things. That's it. But most people are not going to do what you tell them to do. They got to make it their own. They have to own it for themselves. And they have to, I feel, have enough at stake. Literally, why would I make this change? What's in it for me?
Right.
And where the information, knowledge, or something clicks. Maybe they look at a cow at a sanctuary and they're like, oh my God, you're a hamburger? What? You're so kind. You're so loving. Wait, what? Or maybe they realize that their chicken from the local place that they're going to that they think is so hormone-free, kind, humanely raised. That's all for us, y'all, by the way. Humanely raised. The animal's not saying, okay, now humanely slice my neck. I want to be humanely killed. Thank you for hanging me upside down as a chicken, and now I'm your chicken sandwich at the local place. No. Even those bougie places, they're 99% of the animals that people are eating are coming from slaughterhouses. This is true facts. Look it up. So even if you think you're getting it from a really cute little farm out in the middle of nowhere, and there's only 5 little animals out there, and they all made love to make babies, and the mom's going, take my milk, sure, and the little baby cows sick suckling, and then they're getting some milk like the old days when there were 100 people on the planet. We're feeding billions of people. We're feeding billions of people. You're one of a billion. Multiple billions, isn't it? At this point?
Yeah.
I lost track.
Exactly.
People on this planet. There's a lot of people who need to eat food. So I even want to thank the companies that are bringing plant-based foods forward that are not vegan companies, because they are providing more plants on the plate. They're killing less animals by providing. Now, some people say, but wait, if we're buying that from them, then we're supporting them in killing more animals. I don't know. All I know is just if I eat the plants, and I do my best to buy like the straight up and arrow, but you can't always do that. And I just want to say a shout out to Beyond Meat, because Beyond Meat made a shift. And now they're 65% less saturated fats by changing from coconut oil to avocado oil. And we're going to see a lot from Beyond Meat. But let me tell you something, just in case you're wondering if you're crazy, you're not. There have been media money spent. There has been billions of dollars spent to make vegan food and plant-based food look like it's more processed than it is, point out discrepancies that are made up information to discredit plant-based foods. You're not crazy if you see this stuff. They hired influencers to. The dairy industry now has come back with the whole mustache milk and paying big time actors and actresses, celebrities to say got milk. So you're crazy if you think what's going on. And Beyond Meat, just like many other companies, had a dip because the supply chain was locked down, and the cost for resources has gone way up. So shout out to Beyond Meat and Beyond Meat Burger, and buy it, eat it. It's healthy for you. It's healthier for you than a cow burger. And speaking of cow burgers, let's just say any of that cow meat, any of that meat stuff, hormones, drugs to keep them from spreading diseases. It's a thing and it's real. And we are becoming antibiotic resistant, y'all. They call it, what do they call it? Right? That's what you learn in the end of medicine. I was just going to say that's an incredible. We should put all those in there.
Yeah.
I don't, right? I mean, but you mentioned eating our way to extinction. So just if anybody wants to jot that down, I mentioned We Are What We Eat series on Netflix. We talked about forks over knives, cowspiracy, what the hell? Oh, Seaspiracy. Now we've got Christspiracy coming to the theaters. And I think, did you mention something else? Oh, well, The Smell of Money. Mm-hmm. McLibel. But wait, you just mentioned one.
Ignorant.
Ignorant. And The Smell of Money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then The End of Medicine. That's a powerful, powerful film about a woman who's veterinarian working in pig farming. But she would go on to these large scale factory farms that called concentrated feeding operations, CAFOs. And then she would go to these small farms, and she realized it was the same drugs going into each of these animals, and that the amount of drugs, the most antibiotics that are used are in the animal farming business on the planet, not human. Crazy. And then, we're eating animals and then we're getting sick. We're eating sick animals and we're getting sick.
It's terrible. I know. It's horrible. It makes sense, though. Perfect sense. I mean, we have to take care of ourselves. But, well, Paige, we are running out of time. I wish we could show everybody's comments, but if you want to come back next week, you're welcome to anytime. Everyone needs to reach out to Paige. Go ahead and do another commercial. Here we go. Do it,
Paige Parsons Roache. You can find me at Paige Parsons Roache on all the socials, or Plant Based in the Burbz with a Z And check out our cooking segments. It's really fun. We just break it. It's like 7 minutes long. They're super easy. But I want to acknowledge all these Facebook watchers: Tessa, Jane,
Right.
JJ, Vegan Knowledge. That's cute.
Vegan
And
knowledge, AJ.
yeah, that's so fun. I love that. My other name is Vegan Rama Mama. Hello, Dream Seven Souls. That's cute. Beans, brown rice, and beans. I love them. Yes. And then lentils are a great source of protein. Exactly. Very versatile. Yep. Tofu, lentils, black bean. Thank you. I love it. Ooh, yeah, you're adding all this. Ooh, and raw vegan, phenomenal. Whole food, plant-based, phenomenal. Avocado mashed, vegan mayo, and celery. Ooh, tastes like it. I've never done. Oh, you know what? That's good. Black salt does with the scrambled eggs. 4 new fruits this week. What are the fruits? Who likes papaya as well? If you don't like papaya, squirt lemon or squirt lime. That's my tip of the day. And eat some of the seeds. Really good for your microbiome. I want to thank you for having me on. And I'd love to come back. I have to check my schedule for next week, but I'd love to come back. Let's do part 2, 3, 4, 5. We could even have other people on. I think you can add more people in. We could make this a fun thing. I love it.
Yeah, it's already fun. Yes. All right. Let me know. I'll be back in touch with you, Paige. So this has been wonderful. Thanks, everybody. Yes. JJ, I can't get everybody's names. Paige just went down them all. Diana, Dream Seven Souls, Amira, I think I saw. A friend of Jane, of Paiges. I was going to say, let's thank Jane Velez Mitchell for everything she's doing, and Kip Anderson, and all these wonderful documentaries. Producers, Tessa, Jane, and Facebook user, whoever you are. We thank you so much for this. And thank you, Paige.
Peace and plants, y'all. We'll see you next time. Get
All
more plants
right.
in your and in your lives.
Namaste, vegan. Bye.
Bye.